Hello ladies and gents, I am Adventrue and welcome back to From the Depths Adventure Mode, episode 20. In this episode I am going to be working a bit more on the shielding. I've already done a little bit, I layered a couple more laser shields onto the ship. Also going to be going over and sorting out some more of the reflect shields, because although I've got the side hulls completed, the central hull I have not adjusted the shields at all, though to be honest they're decent enough on there at the moment. There just is some gap, particularly on this side, so if there was a plane or something firing from here, they have an open view into the centre of my hull, which I don't really want. I want to have the vast majority of my ship protected, at least covered in shields. I don't think they're fully 100%, you could probably get some shells going through in between the two shields, but the vast majority of it is now fully protected, which is very nice. Probably need to either have a look at it again or just deal with it as it is. The other thing is, my ship, I do want to have some laser weapon systems. The fight with that nightmare in the previous episode showed me that I have great difficulty facing very fast moving targets. To this end, I want to have quite a strong couple of laser systems. This instead of the particle accelerators, just because particle accelerator is quite nice, but it does fire slowly. I think a couple of laser systems would definitely help. They will be Q-switch designs. I've been looking at some 4 and 2 Q-switch designs. To this end though, I do need to increase the size of the hull, because I quite frankly don't have enough power. Lasers use a lot of power, so what I want to do, I'm thinking of, rather than extending the hull lengthways again, I'm going to actually increase the depth of the hull down, so it's actually slightly displacement. This will help it float, because at the moment if I stop moving my ship does sink, which is a major issue, but also it's actually going to help prevent this swinging and strafing, because I will have a lot more surface drag. At the moment I have almost zero drag, it's only air drag. I have very little water drag. Oops, and yes, it's just gone through another portal. Let's put the difficulty up to 30, so hopefully we should start meeting some more powerful designs. Just head out and see what we can find. As I said, I want to increase the depth of the hull. This is going to give me a lot more internal space to work with, in terms of adding additional engines and the laser system, because the laser system does need a very long straight length of hull to have a more powerful laser. You can do it in smaller sections, but then it's less space efficient. I find very long laser systems to be more space efficient and just generally easier to work with. One, well, minor issue I guess with the ship, I have a stupid amount of resources. I'm back up to 78,000 again already. Combined with the more powerful shielding and nicely efficient engines, I just don't seem to be using resources much, and the enemies I'm facing are giving a lot more resources now. I'm not facing anywhere near as many easy designs, so it's a lot more regular designs I'm facing, which just have a lot more expensive components and are worth a lot more salvage. So yeah, it's a nice issue to be having, but it is still a bit of an issue, because I'm not entirely sure what to be spending it on. I don't want to just convert the whole ship into heavy armour. I do like the fact that my ship does get bits blown off it here and there. It does make it a little bit more interesting to watch and play when parts of my hull are being blown apart. Increasing the hull size though will definitely cost a fair amount of resources. It's just I do need to have a think on how I'm going to do that, since it is a fairly significant change. I need to be pretty much just copy and paste these downwards, I think. Just have them double width or double depth. First combat of the episode, fighting a steel strider design with a rather big railgun on the front. What are you? The Allegiance. Okay, well, that railgun is now gone. I was kind of hoping for something. So it does have missiles. It's a nice little design, but it can't be very strong. Must be an easy one or something. bow weapons are firing at it, but doesn't. Can't seem to be getting very good detection on this. Oh, I'm also firing at something else. Yeah, so detection's all over the place. Also, I am getting better detection on the ship behind it. Let's head over towards the slasher and have a look. Here's the slasher. It's a very rapid fire sabot weapon, but it looks like my primary railgun has hit it. Made it bounce back a fair way. Doesn't seem to do too much damage. Almost been in some sort of ammo cache there. Ah, looks like I've destroyed the ammo customizers though, and one of the foreguns. Oh, and the main gun. There's that. Ah, yeah. Completely wrecked that ship. Oh, and now my my high explosive mortar is firing. I don't know if that high explosive mortar is especially effective, but it is really fun. I get my slow range missiles again. Torpedoes. I might just adjust those missiles a little bit more. I might speed them up, reduce their range a fair bit, but they don't seem to be reaching the target. A bit like what the torpedoes were doing before the torpedo buff. They just were not reaching the target fast enough. Oh, fighting an Onyx Watch Glaive. This has quite decent lambs, I seem to remember. Yes, it's shooting out a lot of the projectiles out the sky, though those shots weren't actually hitting it anyway, so by shooting them out, it's actually made it worse for itself due to the fragmentation shells. That's quite cool. Couple though hit. The super cavitation weapons are really not doing much work anymore. They were really nice to start with when I started this Let's Play, but now they just don't seem to be doing work. It's a bit of a shame, but target is now dead. It's probably just compared to that primary railgun, and well, the flak, because they will basically always hit. Continue to see there how well those super cav weapons do. I may want to replace them with something else. Also, I do want to adjust the turret a little bit because it does have a tendency to shoot this one up a bit. In fact, I might even change this to the laser system in the when I get round to that. I was thinking of just adding another weapon on to the ship itself, because the super cav weapon, well, is useful against submarines. I haven't faced many submarines at the moment, but having super cavitation weapons against them will be better than the minuscule numbers of anti-submarine torpedoes I have, which just won't get through any lands. Come on, go through the portal. Oh, come on, that's a pain. Oh well, yep, my ship still doesn't maneuver properly. So some of you might be wondering how I have to layer the shield. So it's quite simple. I place the shield down, get it all set up, so then copy the information to the clipboard, and then move over to the new shield, which I want to be setting up, which is this one here. I go find it. I then paste the information. I exit that. I then have a look to see where it's pointing. It's saying cannot power up because it's trying to go through a shield. And I edit it, and now I adjust the settings before so it'll actually show, and maximize the width, and then monitor what's happening to other shields. If I increase that, another shield goes down. So that is the maximum size of the shield I can do. Like that. And that is now another shield, but here it is slightly under the hull, so I would quite like to increase the distance. Let's push the distance up to 3 there. So it's now away from the hull itself. And that is now another laser shield. So we have laser shield there, and the reflect shield in the middle here, and then another laser shield there, and a reflect shield at the corner. And just need to do the same on the other side. So go back to this shield, place that, paste the information. It's not going through because it's not letting me, so I just need to make a couple of adjustments. There we go, that's another shield added on. That was just based on this one. Just need to reduce that as well to make sure it's always working. And try and find where the other shield is, which is here. Copy the information to the clipboard. Head over all the way to this shield, which hasn't been configured yet. And paste, and that should be there automatically. It's still complaining it can't go through a shield. So something is slightly wrong. Oh no, it was just take a moment to update. There we go, it's now updated. I've added another couple of laser shields at the front of the craft. There is a gap in the corner here against lasers, but I'm not too worried about that. I have reflect shields, and so that's the main thing. There will be some slight gaps with all these shields. It's tricky enough getting this very high amount of shielding, let alone going for complete 100% coverage. Let's go see what I'm actually attacking. So it is a lamprey, and that has a lot of big cram cannons on it. It looks fairly weak in terms of defense, but there's some big guns. So hopefully I can hit it. It's quite unstable. There we go, did hit it once. Oh, pack hit. And parts of it are now falling off. Yep. Big thing, good thing with particle accelerator, it will just completely annihilate cram cannons. It will destroy the gauge increases, so they get a lot smaller and much less damaging. But I did also hit it quite hard with one of my weapon systems. But there we go, that's dead. Go through the hail of bullets back towards my ship. Look at that, 90,000 resources. Sheesh. Come go through the portal. Again, that's like the 4th time it's missed going through this portal. Very, very irritating. I'm now facing a couple of ships. I am facing an angler, which is basically dead, and the plunderer. The plunderer probably killed the angler. So as you'll just quickly pause, because that plunderer is going to die rather quickly. It is a godly Deepwater Guard design. Though, being Deepwater Guard, it's made up mostly of wood, so... Oh yeah, it definitely killed that design. It's got a lot of big, huge cram cannons. But unfortunately, my ship seems to have already hit it a couple of times. It only takes a couple of shots for the thing to get blown up. See, one of my shells there blew a huge hole in it. Yeah, look at that. It's completely annihilated with a few shells. Probably only hit it twice for the amount of damage caused. There's another couple of designs destroyed. It does look like though, I am getting harder opponents now, which is good. Still seems to be nothing compared to the power of my own craft, but it is nice to actually be facing some more challenging enemies. At least some different designs for different things to be blown up. New enemy design has spawned in. Been fighting it for a couple of moments. A Stratocumulus. Oh, I missed it getting shot. Sorry about that. Well, quite a neat little design, I must say. It does seem to be pointing in the wrong direction for fighting me. Unless that hit I did took out its engines, which could very well be the case. Oh, a shield is disabled. That means I've positioned one of my shields incorrectly. Well, that's from the plunderer. Excellent, level up! 104,000 resources. Yeah, I've got a lot of resources. I'm trying to spend them. But it's quite difficult to see which shields are actually active at the moment. because I've got so many layered. Probably should just use the colorizer to make them a little bit more visible. I wonder if it's the ones on the spin blocks. When these guns rotate, they might actually be disabling shields. Though I thought that sub-object ones didn't make that effect. I think it was an exploit you can use, is put a load of shields on spin blocks and allows you to layer easier. Yeah, I can't see any major issue with the shields, but I will have to analyse that a little bit. I've been just playing around with the hull a little bit. I've been adding basically the engine pods, or arming up the engine pods at the side of the hull here, and also just adjusting how the main ship is attached. As you can see here, I've got another linkage arm here and removed the old one. So just need to add in another one around about here, just to make sure it's all held on nice and securely. I might also make some of them heavy armour, because if these things get knocked off, then my ship does basically fall apart. And that would be unfortunate. And they aren't not very secure at the moment. It's just, yeah, my entire ship is basically being held together with just a few metal blocks. So despite the fact that my ship is quite strong, yeah, it could be quite painful. Might add some ones just down here. Just link these two up together, actually. Just do that. So it's heavy armour. Just got some beams. Am I mirror mode? No, I'm not in mirror mode. There we go, I've added a few heavy armour ribs now at the lower end, with the normal metal ones at above. I'll just need to just duplicate another one, the normal metal ribs as well. So let's just grab this one. Just capture prefabs. Let's go for this one. So 2 wide. And that 8 width, I think. A little bit wider. Let's place this one right about here. Oh, I built it slightly the wrong position. It needs to be a little bit closer. Actually, what I'm going to do is, rather than remove it, I'm actually just going to increase the width of it. So we're actually in degraded mode fighting whatever this is. It's big and it's very slow. It's Twin Guard? Wow, that looks... Griffin. That looks pretty cool. Unfortunately, it is now falling out of the sky. It's firing continuous lasers at me. As you can see, my power is being absolutely drained very, very rapidly. That's due to my laser shielding. So it looks like it's a pretty beefy design. It seems to have lost its detection systems and is now firing into the sky. Or that's just a graphical glitch. One or the other. There. Let's see what else I am facing. A couple of my weapons are now firing at this other ship, which is a dreadnought. Okay, so the dreadnought is actually flying. I wasn't expecting that. Ah! Grey Talons. One of their flying battleships. Yeah, they have a lot of airships, but then they do also have these quite awesome designs, which are just ships with a load of propellers which fly around. Quite cool. Of course, though, my flat cannon is quite happy at taking them out, because the HE flak will just destroy all those props and make it fall out the sky. See, there's bits of propeller falling off, and it's becoming more and more unstable as time progresses. Oh, now my firing railgun is firing. Well, the high explosive is detonating a little bit early. I just ordered my ship to actually target this. It wasn't targeting it before. I'm still targeting the destroyed Griffin. Ooh. Going right up in the sky. Becoming a nice target for all the weapons. Oh, looks like it's too damaged and it's falling to pieces. Nice. Grab myself another 8,000 resources. Goodness me. I've taken some damage on the hull. Looks like it's more the central hull, but that's because I have no laser shielding there. So that would have been probably caused by the Griffin's continuous laser. I've been stripped off a few blocks on the main gun here. And also the high explosive mortar. And as you can see, it's also taken some bits damage around here, because there is no shielding, so from high flyers, that is something I will take damage from. A nice comment came through in the previous episode, and that's from Savorti. Pointed out that I have missed out a good number of charges. As you can see, this is the prefab of my 17-meter railgun. See, there's a big gap internally. I originally left this space clear so as not to accidentally link the guns together. But, because if I just add a 6-way connector here, it will cause the guns to link. What I can do though, is if I move this around a little bit, let's just get on the gun turret itself. If I move this, so rotate this here, and then that actual gauge increase from there, what I can do is clear a space here from which I can drop 6-way connectors down from. Just do that to equalise the gun. So now that I've moved the gauge increase just around here, I can now drop this 6-way connector down, all the way down to the base here. Just make sure I didn't actually put one through the ground. No. And add on around about 20 additional charges onto each gun. So this is going to increase the loading time quite significantly of how much charge I can actually put into the gun itself, which is really nice. I'm just going to put this on both. I do lose a little bit of recoil absorb, but that's honestly fairly minor. I'd much rather the increased in actual rail draw in rail capacity. So again, move that like that. So now, as you can see, almost all the capacity is now used up in this gun. There is a slight area which is still free, and that is the central column. But otherwise, almost all the space of this gun almost all the internal space has now been used up with those charges there. And we've got this section here, which is still a little bit, well, doesn't really have any use. I might put some surge protectors or heavy armour to act as surge protector in that section. Otherwise, that's quite a nice improvement, so thank you very much for that comment, because it's just made this gun that little bit more powerful. So just save this, save the blueprint and save this, and then build it onto my main ship. A similar concept can also be applied to the 15-meter railgun as well. So just take this around there. I think I've just linked the two guns together, haven't I? Yes, I have. Whoops. There we go, that's this gun also upgraded with the additional rail chargers. So I'll just save that vehicle as well. Just save over the 15 turrets. Brilliant, and I will update the post on the forums regarding that. So thanks for that information. Very useful. The next design I've been looking at is a laser system. This is my 2Q laser, and this thing is actually pretty effective. Admittedly, 4Q lasers are more energy efficient, but this one, I have found problem with 4Q lasers that they just take a lot of power to get running properly, because they fire so quickly. Trying to get each of the individual shot powerful enough to do a lot of damage is a fair bit trickier. I'll just quickly build one to see if I can get it nice and efficient. But this design is quite space efficient because I have a lot of chargers in quite a few cavities. Also gives a nice high amount of armor penetration value because the whole 4Q is in the cross shape, and this is much more of a box shape, so generally easier to work with. Yes, this utilizes quite high pulse damages. I have 85 AP, so it will do full damage to heavy armor. It's also designed for use with wavefront adjusters. These will allow it to do more damage through smoke. I just need to max them out a bit. And I'll just show you quite how effective this is at taking out blocks. Just let me pull up the actual target. Here is the tester, and so as you can see, it will quite happily just blast straight through beams. Even like quite a few heavy layers of beams, it will just quite rapidly just eat through them. And even the heavy armor, just kind of hit it, it will destroy it relatively quickly, but it will just vastly just punch straight through normal beams, even with that maximum wavefront adjuster. I'll have a quick have a go at building a 4Q laser and see if I can get anything quite to this sort of level. It's just difficult to get that pulse damage up to the level I'm looking for. As a fire laser, you see it maintains around about 3000-ish damage as it's actually firing. This laser does also utilise around about 30,000 energy, which is a lot of power, but it is something which is quite feasible with normal fuel engines. Lasers draw a very, very large amount of power, and quite often now you use steam engines to keep them running, but that does use a rather insane amount of fuel. Well, not fuel, material. And although I do have a lot of material, the fact that having a very powerful 4Q laser would probably eat through that in a matter of minutes. Here we go, I've designed a similar sort of laser. It's not as powerful per pulse, which is a little bit irritating, but if I just go to it, it does quite a lot less pulse damage than the other one. The other one was doing, well, averaging about 3000 per pulse when firing. This one was around about 2000 per pulse when firing. And again, it's got wavefront adjusters, but this is a 4Q laser design. So it is more energy efficient than the 2Q laser, so it should be better overall, but I'm not too sure. It's not very space efficient. It does make a complete mess of this target, can see it just tears through it very, very quickly. Let's have a look at the other design when I put the combiners back. Just see if I can try and compare the two of them. See, that one just goes through. It does. The 2Q laser just punches straight through the holes, whereas the 4Q, it is doing more consistent damage. But it does do higher damage, and it only needs to do one shot in order to make a significant bit of damage, whereas the 4Q is requiring multiple shots in the same location to break through beams. The big thing is, though, well, look at the size difference. The 4Q one is pretty much double the size. It has a lot of empty, unused space in it. I would be able to just tessellate this and Tetris this in a little bit better. It wouldn't be this exact shape, but this design of the 2Q laser is so much more easy to place in a ship, and I think that might end up being the final concern. The other thing is, though, if I am increasing the size of my hull, space isn't so much of a concern. Both of these would easily fit within the hull, and this is a more powerful design. It's just that it is more energy efficient, and if I do upgrade it, it will actually become much, much better, whereas the 2Q laser is pretty much in its final form, I'd say. It takes out beams in single shots. Any more powerful than that, and it's going to be, well, wasting on over-penetration, compared to the 4Q, which could be made more powerful to do even more damage. In fact, let's just do that. Let's add another line, a couple of lines of the cavities and see what happens. So here we go. I've added a couple more cavities onto it. I am using the actual destabilizers, because without stabilizers you need a lot of actual combiners in order to utilize the pumps effectively. This way I don't really want to be using too many pumps, but this will make them a lot more powerful. So now, yeah, if I just increase the size, it just rips through things at a rather horrific rate. But I am using too much power. Let's just turn that one off, so I can just monitor how much power this one uses. Yeah, I'm actually using too much power. Let's see if we can actually get this up to full power and see how much power it will actually require. There we go. One thing I forgot to do is I could just set an ACB to make this gun fire all the time, and then if I just go into the V menu, I can have a look at the power and have a look at the power consumption. So, multi-purpose laser is asking for 68,000 power. That's quite a lot compared to the other one. So you see, yeah, the 4Q one, if I make it so it does destroy blocks, well, basically instantaneously, does utilise twice as much power as the 2Q laser, which destroys blocks in one hit. The thing is that the 4Q is firing way faster. This is something to consider. Both I should be able to fit in my ship. The 4Q one, though, is probably a little bit too much power hungry. But I will consider utilising the 2Q's design, or having a couple of the 2Q designs, for taking out fast ships. And I can always retrofit it at a later point. That is, though, all I have time for today's episode. So thank you very much for watching this episode of From the Depths Adventure Mode with myself, Adventrue. If you did enjoy the episode, please leave a like and or comment below, as it is always great to hear from you lot. Otherwise, that's it from me for now, and I shall see you next time. But until then, I'm out. Goodbye!